Enchanté, mon chers. How is everybody? I'm gonna talk low. It's a little late. I'm coming in from work and I don't want to rouse my neighbors. I share a wall with some gals. But I hope everybody's good. So I felt like our anchor message for the week was particularly potent. It really piggybacks off of our weekend message, which was not necessarily the weekly energy forecast, which is also very potent. So I would definitely watch the Sunday night video that is the weekly energy oracle forecast, which gives like the conditions of the week. But also go back to the reading before that, not Secret Teachings of Jesus, but our weekend reading. And it talks about like now that we are starting like this new path, this new timeline, it's like we are now using all of the wisdom and experience and all of the spiritual training and everything that we've learned up until now about our patterns and about ourselves and about our self-discovery and our, ability to operate within our relationships and taking care of ourselves and our daily routine, like all of those things sort of culminating, and they're being brought into practice in a major way in this new cycle. It's like we're jumping timelines. And so now all of the training is being embodied, and we're having to embody that up-leveled self in order to step into an up-leveled experience. And it's going to stretch us out of our comfort zone, and we're not going to feel ready. And it's going to feel like a stretch. It's going to feel like a risk, I'm sure. But that's what it feels like when you're stepping into a next level, when you're pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone. So it might be a little frightening. And so I feel like the universe is continuing to assure us that, we've been doing the work and we have been prepping ourselves for, just the occasion that we're meeting ourselves with just now, that we're coming up against with the universe. And so our anchor message for the week that lays out our spiritual assignments, like in Soul School. Sorry, I'm always like scooting around on my leather couch if I'm like squeaking. But yeah, so the lessons that we're coming up against in Soul School this week, or for us, are always illustrated by our Monday reading. And I've been loving to use the Wild Unknown archetypes, which makes total sense. It's like the archetypes are our lessons collectively as a school of humankind. And so the archetype cards by Kim Kranz lay out our lessons for the week, and then we clarify with some tarot cards. So to get started, we pulled the Mentor, followed by Alethea, followed by the Mirror. Underneath the Mentor, we got the King of Pentacles. Underneath Alethea, we got the High Priestess. And underneath the Mirror, we got the Emperor. But it's actually the feminine Emperor, which is separate in this deck from the masculine Emperor. All right, so I'm gonna go over like just the general impression I got, and then I would like to read in detail. I've been really liking to share Kim Kranz's in like the way that she describes these, both the archetypal cards and the alchemy deck. Something about it, there's just always like these really poignant pieces that I think need to be shared, because I think that different people are watching and there are different layers of story going on at any given time. And any one person can be experiencing the many layers of the story, all of them. And some people might be resonating with some of the other storylines and not the others. And so sometimes I just feel really compelled to read the book because I feel like there may be something that hooks the message together in the specific way that applies to your particular situation. So with the mentor, Alethea, and the mirror, the mentor it talks about obviously like using, it's like when you've come to a certain point in your life where everything that you've been through and all the events that you've experienced and all of your given strengths and all of your given weaknesses, it's like we're coming to a culmination moment where we're like, oh, I see how it all fits together now. I see why I've been where I've been. I see why I've been through what I've been through. And now I see how I can apply it in this next leg of my own self-discovery, in the next leg of my life, in the next leg of what I'm creating and what I am experiencing and like how I am moving and interacting and having my being in this life. And so the mentor, it may be you finally self-realizing all that you've been learning all this time and realizing that the Holy Spirit is your mentor, that you've been your mentor all along, that your higher self has been mentoring you. But there also might be, sources of inspiration that you've been connecting with. Maybe one person or clusters of sources or, groups or collectives, whatever that is for you. There's something poignant right now in tying together like the depths of your life lessons and how they apply to you and how you're applying them to like how you're going forward in this new opportunity to write a new story for ourselves. Alethea is truth. It's not just what's true and what's false. It's that divine truth that comes in, that inspiration that's always available, that we're always able to connect with, but it's really up to us to like condition ourselves to open up and connect with that. And so Alethea with the mentor, with the mirror, this is about finally realizing the truth, our truth, the truth of the universe as it relates to the macrocosm of the whole, of like realizing like, oh my God, I'm starting to realize like the vast expanse of creation and the universe and like my place in it. And I'm starting to realize like and be really connected with the unfoldment of and the awakening of my consciousness and the progression of my soul and on this path. And so I'm starting to connect like the significance of my experiences and what they've meant and what they've led to. And I'm gaining the revelation and the spiritual insight and epiphany from that. And wow, I'm able to integrate it and start applying it into my life, but there's still so much awe. It's so great. And I think that's what the God-fearing is really about. It's not fearing punishment. It's not fearing, guilt or enslavement. It's being able to look at the vastness of creation and the wonder of it and the mystery of it all and the complexity and the simplicity and the perfect balance and just be struck with just, wow, just wow, wonder. And so, yeah, part of that is starting to integrate into the awakening process. And we're seeing this. We're seeing ourselves and we're seeing our experiences with the mirror, right? And maybe there are, people and situations and experiences being held up to you right now in the kind of the service of the mirror. They're playing that mirror. showing you yourself, or like representing, like reflecting like yourself back to you, you know, maybe through another person. But all of this is really serving to, this is all about self-discovery. This is all about learning what drives us and what motivates us to make the decisions that we're making in life. And one thing that I'm using to connect that back to is our weekly oracle forecast. There was the sacral chakra that was coming up, and the third eye chakra. It was all about that vision, right? And the subconscious, and how the subconscious and the vision, you know, are connected, because the subconscious is driving so many of our urges and desires and longings and our motivations. And it's like, until we become aware of what's really driving us, then we're not really making our decisions from a place of self-control. We're making them from a place of reactivity. And so, yeah, this is a week, I think, of really becoming aware of practicing that kind of sovereignty, because underneath these cards, let's unpack that. So underneath Mentor, we have the King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles is a very healthy, grounded, secure masculine energy. It's an energy that has a plan and a confidence and a security and a sense of leadership. But like this King of Pentacles, this King of Pentacles has a set of skills that allows, and it doesn't matter, don't get hung up on gender, because every female has to balance masculine and feminine energies within her. Every masculine has to balance masculine and feminine energies within him. And so a male could be watching, me talking about a queen, and it could be talking about him. You know, it's about the archetypal energy of the moment. And so the king, which is all of us. It's all of us. It's saying that the King of Pentacles has intelligence and experience and skills and know-how and confidence and an inner sense of stability and the ability to put what we've learned into motion in order to create abundance and security. This king is also very tied to nature and is very connected to nature and is very grounded by nature, but gets, a lot of that grounded sense from that earth element. Let me see, for some reason I just want to read. I don't need to read this, but I want to read the King of Pentacles. Wearing a suit and a hat, the King of Pentacles looks the part of a smart businessman. He stands confidently on the deer's antlers, being able to handle every problem masterfully. The deer is a symbol of strength, leadership, and manliness, and also connects the king with the natural environment. 3 golden coins with the imprint of Caesar's symbol, the king's financial success. Wealth, business acumen, management skills, discipline, and financial adeptness. Now, I'm just going to go ahead while we're at it and read the Mentor, because it's here. The teacher, the sage, the guru. It is said that the cosmic knowledge pours down on the world like a great illuminated waterfall. This can be an overwhelming force. The true teacher, though, is said to be able to hold this flow of wisdom at bay while the student sips a focused stream. The mentor archetype has a gift for reading the room, for sensing the exact ingredient that will stimulate growth within the student, whether pleasant or painful. The mentor may appear aloof, or available, harsh or tender, humorous or rigid. Their gift is to know what serves the soul. Ultimately, the mentor is in service of the greater cosmic good and aids in the elevation of consciousness. Anytime the mentor forgets this humble link and mistakes themselves for the source of enlightenment, the archetype falls into shadow. When light, focused, clear, bright, remains a student. Always remain a student. When dark, self-serving, envious of youth, righteous, or rigid. To go deeper, the riddles of Zen masters and their students. Interesting. Yes, and so under Aletheia, under this realization of revelation and epiphany and truth, we have the High Priestess. And so the High Priestess is connected to the subconscious. She is the divine feminine, the one who can intuit, the one that can take in inner vision, the one who can be guided by source. The High Priestess usually hints at things that were unknown coming out into the known. So information that wasn't known before might be revealed, some more details over the next couple of days. The moon is in a crescent state, so it's in its stage of becoming. When the moon is full, things are revealed. So, in the booklet, it talks about, and I mean, just in general, the High Priestess is associated with the moon. The moon is associated with the element of water, and this is associated with the intuition and the astral realm and the dream world, the deep, deep, deep subconscious. So the ship is that inner voice of the higher self that guides you through your intuition, right? That voice of that connects to the Holy Spirit, that's guiding your direction of self-discovery through the murky waters of your subconscious motivations, through your patterns, through your conditioning of what you witnessed. What are generational curses? What are generational, values that are passed down that are or are not, in alignment with you and what you want now. And so, yes, these things are coming into light this week, or they're coming into the forefront to be examined and to be explored and to be considered. Because going into this next leg of our life, like, we're building the foundation right now. We're building the structure on the foundation. And so it's important that we examine what is motivating us to build certain rooms in this house. What is motivating us to go in a certain direction, if you will. Because we want it to be intentional, because it's going to be something that we're going to live in. It's going to set us up for this next half of our lives. So we want to be on purpose about it. So the mirror came up with the female emperor. Female emperor. It's not the empress, it's the emperor. But it's the feminine emperor. So in this particular tarot deck, there's the empress and the queens, and there's the kings. But then there's also the feminine emperor, the feminine kings, and I think that's it. I don't think that there's the feminine version of the other, the court characters and face cards. And I think what this is, I think that sorry, I just belched. Second belch. We're all comfortable here. I think that the purpose of this is to show the successful integration of the masculine and feminine energies in a masterful sense. Because we've transcended past the queen on her own. And we've transcended past the king on his own as a supernal masculine, and that queen, the supernal feminine. But the feminine version of the kings hints at a union of equal polarities of masculine and feminine. And so to me, this always represents some sort of union of the masculine and feminine energies. And so with the Empress, the feminine emperor, they yield their experience and their knowledge in a way that is positive leadership. And in the booklet, it goes out of its way to talk about how, yes, this emperor does have these characters on a lead or on a leash or on a string, but it's more in such a way that is protecting them from outer threats. And so it's more about using this truth, not using it, but embodying it in the most authentic sense, that's not using it, right? That's not wielding it, but embodying this truth to step into your sovereignty, to be able to have healthy influence when it's positive too, and to be able to not hold sway, but inspire, motivate, mentor. You know, Jesus was a reluctant Messiah. Usually, I don't even say usually, but the universe only rewards power to those who have spiritually earned the power. It's the sword and the stone situation where only the pure of heart, only the person with integrity that has done the work of the transmutation, that has done the alchemy to offload the darkness and the negative patterns, it's that person that is entrusted with the power of divine blessing, the power of creation, the power of manifestation. Because you're under direct supervision of the light once you enter into that spiritual path. And so, yes, there are darker people who can manipulate the forces of manifestation temporarily, but it's always going to be against the will of divine. It's never going to be in that cosmic flow, that cosmic blessing, right? And so, yeah, the emperor, the feminine emperor has done the work. Like all of this work. In this work, and has gotten to the point where the universe is now blessing them because they've seen themselves. And this full moon up here, this is complete revelation. This is brought out into the open. It's fully realized. So yeah, I think this is about owning that inner sense of sovereignty and having the self-awareness and self-control to finally be able to enter into a new stage of our life on purpose and with intention, and having revelation and understanding of the self so that we can be free to make our own choices out of free will and not out of a sense of being reactive, not out of a sense of scarcity or being coerced or manipulated or anything like that, but just knowing that you feel, I don't know, your higher self or the Holy Spirit leading you in a direction that feels like it can't be any other way. Like it's not right for it to be any other way. You can't deny it. It's undeniable, right? And yeah, that is hard to narrow that down. That's the struggle of the mystic, of the spiritual journey, of the spiritual path. It's much easier to just report to church on Sunday and then go back to your business. But we're a little bit more serious than that around here, I think, ironically enough. Us heathens on this forbidden channel doing our forbidden thing. Our cursed heresy. But I wouldn't have it any other way. And I don't think you would either. And I thank you for being here. And we're getting in under a cold 25 minutes. So I think we're doing okay. Sometimes it can get worse. Sometimes it can get longer. But yeah, y'all take care. Tomorrow night we will be here for our Totally Tuesday, our manifestation reading for the week. And yeah, I hope y'all are good, but not too good. Ciao.